Going back to what we're saying about the talk of de-dollarization, part of this is economics, mainstream economics, because it channels everybody in the wrong direction, right? So you're sitting here trying to figure out what's happening, and economics says points you right at the Federal Reserve and says the Federal Reserve is this all-powerful God. And so you put all of these pieces in the Federal Reserve bucket. You don't know what's happening. You don't really have any clarity about why things are happening or why they didn't happen the way you thought they would. And you just get angrier and angrier because the mainstream doesn't have any answers for you anyway. And if anything, the mainstream is set up for you to not get any answers. That's really what QE was for. QE was to put everybody back to sleep. Stop asking questions about the monetary system. Stop asking questions about the results of this 2008 crisis. Just believe the Fed's got it covered. And I think that more than anything really turbocharged people's anger, which led to this unproductive outbreak and this unproductive expression. And I hate the dollar. I really hate that I don't understand. It's exactly what you're saying. I hate that I don't understand, and I need an outlet for that frustration. So, goddamn, I hate the dollar.
Yeah. Well, then the other part of it for me, and I don't know when I actually figured this out. It was probably listening to you, to be honest, or it definitely helped. Was once again, at some point in this journey, everybody comes across the euro dollar, right? And, I probably heard the term before, but I probably never really knew what it meant or what it really was. But as part of this journey, I kind of started digging into it. And even then, I was like, well, yeah, okay, so the rest of the world owes all this dollar debt. Well, they'll just default on it, and then the US will be screwed. And it wasn't until I don't know, probably a year after that, after I even discovered the euro dollar market, that I realized that they didn't owe that money to the United States and that they owed it to each other. And when that happened, when I made that realization, that was like another veil got torn off my eyes, right? And I could see even more clearly. And I remember kind of sitting back saying, "Holy cow! This is this is why the U.S. has been able to kind of get away with whatever the monetary policy they want, because their monetary policy is for the whole world. It's not just for the United States." This is probably an area where you and I probably disagree a little bit. But I think it does help explain why, when people can't figure out why the dollar hasn't crashed yet, in my opinion, it's because of the euro dollar market. They don't understand the demand for dollars in the euro dollar market. And but once I figured that out, that really changed everything for me.
Yeah, there
Um,
was the Chinese example always comes up all the time. And there was a period back then too where everybody said the Chinese were going to destroy the United States when they sell all their treasuries. And once you understand exactly what you're saying, you make that aha moment in your mind, you make that intuitive leap. You're like, no, wait a minute. The Chinese are going to be worse for it. If they start selling their treasuries, they're in trouble, not the United States. It's a breakdown in the monetary system of which they're the biggest customer. They're the one that's most reliant on this monetary system, not the other way around. I think that's another part that gets us back into this emotional response to the way everything is, because everything is it's almost like everything is backwards from the way you think it is, which just makes you more frustrated every time you think, oh, this is going to happen, and then the opposite happens, and it just makes you angrier and angrier. And again, it gets back to the original statement here. We understand why people feel this way. It's just that most people aren't able to do what you did, which is entirely commendable. I mean, it's hard to say, I got to change the way I'm thinking. It's much easier to double down every single time and just get angrier and angrier and follow that emotional trail to now you're a decade and a half later and you're still talking about, oh, the dollar is going to be destroyed. And now I'm going to hype up this stupid BRICS summit this year, which was complete crap from the very beginning. And you can see it was.